This is Calicat, the Calicatster. And tonight, even though that thing is blaring in the background, I'm gonna do a review because YouTube movies happen to queue up Angry Red Planet. So I thought it would be fun to watch Angry Red Planet here on Tuesday, Tuesday the 14th of March. It's technically an unofficial creature features. It's a Mars story, so there you go. Yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while. I don't think creature. Pretty sure the early creature features did it years ago. I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but it's been a long time. It's a 1959 sci-fi movie, sci-fi horror movie. Well, thriller, I guess, a thriller movie. Premise of which is the beginning of it. There's a rocket ship that is picked up and brought back to Earth, and on board there's a doctor lady and a scientist lady and a crewman with a amoebic slime on his arm, and they're taken into the hospital thing. Even though the radiation people make no attempt to actually protect themselves from the radiation ship, but it's the 50s. Then they go to the hospital page. She has to bring her memories back to remember what's going on, and traumatized by the visit to Mars, the aliens, and through the flashbacks of the whole that's the story. They go to Mars. There's 4 crewmen initially, I think. Yeah, there's the doctor, the horny boyfriend, the guy that insults Irish people because apparently in the 50s that was a thing. They keep joking that she's called Irish or Iris or Irish. And there's the animosity. The guy's a little animosity. Playful banter animosity. The Irish lady. Everybody's white in the whole thing, and there's very little music in it. Only time they do music cues is when something scary pops out. So there's a lot of periods of the movie where there's no sound, really, just the characters. They've built an elaborate, rocket ship bridge, which is way bigger than an Apollo rocket bridge. And they're walking around in there, so it's like a control room. It looks like they used a control room from possibly, I was gonna say Dragnet or something like that, but I think this is before that. So, before Dragnet, Pan from Uncle or something. So yeah, way back. It's a little before that. It's a control room set. They might have used Das Boot, maybe. I don't think it is though. They built the reel-to-reel tape deck thing, that they have in the 50s. They had all this other stuff on. It's 1959, so it's 2 years after the 50s. So Chevy, it's actually during the time Happy Days is supposed to take place, but no connection. And the dialogue is very clipped Air Force dialogue. They have spacesuits that are in uniforms. So NASA didn't exist yet, so that are odd. The rocket ship patch thing. It's supposed to be Air Force rocket to Mars. It's a rocket, even though at no point does the room look round. It's a square, boxy room that they built. Instead, they spent about $200,000 on it. Say it's probably earned its money back long since then. That's a cult classic, it's just. But that's in 50s money, so $20,000 in 50s money, for inflation, would probably be maybe $1 million. That's probably what it would cost now. Somewhere around there, probably something like that. They have a lot of miniatures. They have the infamous, a rat, bat, spider creature thing. They have a giant amoeba in it with an eye. It can't be single celled, but it has an eye. They have a lot of, I also read the IMDb thing on it, so it's kind of like that's there too. Yeah. Yeah, creature thing. This is like old school creature features. This is the stuff John Stanley when I was a kid watching Channel Two, like a little black and white TV. This movie was the stuff that was on like this. I think it predates the current creature features by some time. It's the 80s they showed this again. Yeah, so. But back then it was only 30 years old. It was, 89, 80, 88, 89, it would have been 40 years old. 50 to 80, 30 years old. When I first saw it, so quite a long time ago. Yeah, so it's one of the early ones. I'm sure they did it. The sets when they go to Mars, they do have a creative idea of having, when it's day or night, they shine a red light into the room from just off the side, so a little portal to shine a red light on the room, and then they show like to make it look like it's day, and then when it's night, it's blue. That's clever for the 50s. That's clever. It's better than Ed Wood, but not by much. Same time period as Grave Robbers from Space or Plan 9 from Outer Space. Both a bigger budget. At least the rocket ship is not a flying saucer made from a Ford hubcap. At least it's not that. No, one of those was a DeSoto hubcap. At least it wasn't that. Wouldn't have been a Studebaker. Those were expensive. Anyway, so Ford. So they go to a Martian lake, where the water is more dense than on Earth. Of course, they hadn't visited Mars. I don't think the pioneers had gone. I think the Viking landers were that stuff was in the 70s. So a little after the moon landings. That might have been an earlier one in the 60s, but I think that's right. Yeah. So, but they didn't know anything. They're guessing. They're guessing everything. Martians are live. Like the 1800s, the John Carter of Mars kind of idea. They just didn't know anything about the Mars. They did get it right that the atmosphere was thinner than Earth because it's a smaller planet and all that. They didn't get anything else right. Giant Martian city, hidden, cloaked. They're trapped on the planet. A giant spider creature attacks them. They've got a freeze gun that one of them is named. He named it a doll. What did he name the gun? Oh well, Cleopatra. His freeze gun, which for some reason is a sound weapon that freezes things. I'm not sure how that works. A sonic freeze gun on a planet that's colder than Earth. The science makes no sense, but neither does the radiation crew running to the rocket site and not wearing any protection at all. Well, that's okay because when they go out in space, half of them aren't wearing visors on their helmets, so they're walking around on Mars with no visor. The only reason two of them have a helmet on the visor is because that's an actor that doesn't get to say anything. The reason they did that was because the glass would fog up. So ones are going to talk, they took the helmet off, took the visor off. Plastic cellophane visor, like that, very very cheap. But the Martians rip out the radio things or something for some reason, and erase the tapes for some reason. Send them on their way, leaving them a warning message saying, "Don't approach Mars ever again." Blast Mars. The guy with the infection on his arm gets cured because they figure out how to electrocute the creature, somehow cure him. The old guy dies. He has a heart attack. Who looks a little like Vincent Price, but isn't. Somebody else. Everybody in this movie has died a long time ago. They're all dead. There was actually curiously, the nurse that was in it who was had a cameo and then appeared at the end, is a former Playboy playmate from 1954. Who knew? Anyway, so yeah, I'm the 50s. I'm not. So this is the rest of my review of the Angry Red Planet, noting the sexism of 1959, and it all being white people and one or two ladies, and although curiously the woman crewman is treated kind of as an equal, but she's more like the homemaker keeping them together more than she is a crewman. It's really obvious. Or the nurse is the nurse one keeping things together, or that kind of thing. Yeah, she's obviously dating one of the crewmen, but the other three are still like kind of creeping on her a little bit. Well, not so much the old guy, but the other two. One of them gets eaten by the alien planet, the amoeba thing. Kind of a cool effect for 1959. The guy in the gelatinous thing, probably poured Metamucil all over him and slowly lowered him into a pool or something. Then filmed it to look like he's standing up. It's made it look like he went into the thing. Even though when they electrocute that thing, it looks like they just did the same trick with the Metamucil kind of stuff and just sort of burned it. Even though that kind of wouldn't happen. And, the water was heavy, and the planet would. The freeze was, they didn't know what they were looking at. They assume Martians are advanced and have stuff like that. The Martian lake would be heavier somehow, and it would be taller. They curiously they did get some stuff right in that right in the case of a planet being they would be tall creatures on Mars because they were low gravity. They may grow tall, but I think that was just a happy accident. I don't think they thought about it. They thought, we don't want this kaiju like creature attacking. They probably weren't. Yeah, this would make this look scary. The fact that our the bat spider critter thing was actually about maybe a foot tall, but they made it look like it was 50 feet. Foot tall, but they made it look 50 feet tall. So yeah, the Martian, the Angry Red Planet with the silly 50s movie. B-movie, certainly silly. I'm surprised if MST3K didn't do it. I'm surprised it didn't. I think they did. But yeah, I mean, it's not the same as This Island Earth or something, but it's, Martians. Yeah, they didn't have any idea that Mars was relatively lifeless. And very cold. Very, very cold on Mars. Air is very thin. Sort of made that error in The Martian, the movie with when the guy got stuck with the thing. The high winds blew up and stuck him in the gut with the thing. And I was like, wait a minute. There wouldn't be high winds on Mars. Nor would there be a weird there wouldn't be a magnetic field holding them down on the planet either. I don't know what. They didn't even explain that. They just said, the Martian put them there and erased the other tapes. But why? Why would it bother doing that? And just leaving one tape behind and sending the ship on its way. Why not just go to the scientists and tell them, this is what we don't want you here anymore. You must leave, or the colonizers are evil. Yeah, why didn't they just do that? To not traumatize them at all. Send them a TV message. Oh yeah, and the radio signals to and from Mars are instantaneous. Apparently, are they? They said they were 300,000 miles away, which was funny at one point. If they weren't. Quite a bit longer than that. Anyway, so maybe they're thinking of the moon. A little closer, but I don't think it's that. I don't know offhandedly. But yeah, the Mars they were heading toward changed color in some ways. Green. They had some nice balls of the globes they painted up to look like Mars. Kind of neat that special effects back then. But yeah, so that's my review, I guess. That's all it was. I mean, yeah. So the Angry Red Planet is available for free on YouTube this month. So go and check it out.